moving along to Sutra 233, and I said that I have another favorite sutra, and this is it. Vitarka Badane Pratipaksha Bhavanam. When experiencing negative thoughts, cultivating the opposite thought. Now, the first time I heard this sutra, I was like, what? It sounds like when someone tells you to smile when you're not feeling happy. I have a negative thought, just think the opposite. But here's what this really means, right? Is we all have negative thoughts, right? And a big part of this practice is this ability to be able to balance, to emotionally regulate myself. We all experience anger, and no yogi would tell you to suppress that anger. That's unhealthy. But, right, recognizing when it is uncontrolled and it starts to spill out in my actions, in my words, and I'm hurting people in the process. What this pratipaksha bhavanam is I have this ability to recognize, right, that I'm experiencing something negative, right, and I can flip the switch on it, right? Like, I'll use the example of waking up in the morning and I'm looking in the mirror. And sometimes I wake up in the morning and I have this like fetus face and I look tired and my eyes are puffy and my mind automatically goes to like, you look like crap. And then you look like crap goes into like you're aging, you're looking older, ... We all have different storylines of that, but it starts to take me down this sort of negative way of thinking. And it gets to this point with pratipaksha bhavanam where I catch myself and I'm like, stop. We're not going to do this today. And instead, I'm like, Rebecca, you have to say something nice to yourself, right? And automatically, I change my mind. I say something nice. Rebecca, you're a great friend to people. Okay, that kind of worked. I say something else. You're a great cook. Blah, blah, right? Goes on. And then I get myself out of that kind of rut that my mind can go to. And we know in science that we can create new neural pathways. Right? So we have this ability, right? The kind of the unchecked mind will just let that thought go, right? You offended me, I go right to anger and I go right to attacking you back. This pratipaksha bhavanam is that comes, there's this sort of negative and I want to go into this place of defense, but I have a moment. And I'm like, that's not going to help the situation. And instead, I avoid it. I don't respond to it, right? It's this switch. It's this ability to change it up, right? And it becomes a little bit of a superpower when you can start to do this because we start to recognize that our own mind has these well carved out grooves that can take us to these negative places. And part of a lot of these practices, these tapas, which we learned, are these disciplines that are cleansing the mind. I'm cleansing the mind. I'm working with mantras, right? I'm listening to this philosophy. And it starts to clear my mind so that when someone says something negative, sometimes I don't even engage with it. It's that disregard of the wicked that we learned in Sutra 133. I'm not even going to entertain it. A negative thought, I want to say something negative about myself. Not today. We're not doing that, right? And I go into that positive. Some ways in which we can go into the positive is a simple gratitude practice, right? Waking up in the morning, naming things that I'm grateful for. That puts my mind in a very positive attitude, right? And instead of going about like, oh, this isn't working for me, this isn't happening for me, I'm upset, oh, I knew this would happen, right? Instead, I start to train my mind to see the good. This is the work of the sutra. Training the mind to see the good, seeing the good within myself. I take a tally of my blessings. The more I do that, the more I see how wonderful and blessed my life is. And that's what I choose to focus on, right? Not the negative things. And I train my mind, this is spirituality 2.0, to see the good in other people. Even if that person isn't being so kind to me, I can train my mind to see the good in them. And this is how we can train our mind to go from that negative thought to a more positive thought. So I stay in this upgraded state. And then after a while and with practice, we start to maintain that homeostasis of an upgraded positive mind.